Feed Your Family Tonight podcast. Each week, we are serving up motivation and inspiration to help you get weeknight dinner on the table, letting you recapture a little calm in the crazy. And now, your host, speaker, author, and married mother of four, Mariefiebach.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Feed Your Family Tonight podcast, episode 104. I'm your host, Mariefiebach, and today we're going to talk about what is your why? You think, what does that have to do with food? Well, we're heading into November, and life is going to get a little bit more busy. And in order for you to set your priorities, you need to examine your why. Why are these things your priorities? And why are you choosing one good thing when another choice could also be good? When you examine your why and you set that resolve in your head, it gives you permission to say yes to the things that are most important to you and no to things that are good but are not necessarily as important. And so often, especially during the holidays, I bring up the holidays because we're going to be heading into it. So often, especially in the holidays, there are so many good things. And when we get overwhelmed is when we're saying yes to things that on the surface, they are good, but saying yes to them creates overwhelm for us. And it takes away the time and the mental space that we crave for the things that are most important to us. I talk about this with my husband all the time where I say, I just need spaciousness. I have a task that probably is only going to take me 15 or 20 minutes, but I need a full 3-hour block of time to be able to know that I can start and finish that task without being interrupted and being able to think about it as much as I want to think about it. An example for that is buying Christmas cards. We don't do it very often. About every 2 or 3 years, our family will send out Christmas cards. This year we're going to, and honestly, it's probably not going to take me more than actual 20 minutes of work, but I need to schedule a 3-hour block of time to select the Christmas cards because I want to know that I have time to look and I have time to compare and I have time to test out ideas and I have time to look at what I want to be said on those Christmas cards. And that's just one example. Christmas cards may not be something that's important to you at all. If I am trying to rush and do that in between dropping off my kids at school and running to a program at school and taking dinner to a neighbor and trying to make Christmas cookies with my kids, and I have all of those things could physically be accomplished in 3 hours, but I'm running from thing to thing to thing, and I don't have the spaciousness to sit and really focus on the thing that's most important to me at that moment, then I feel overwhelmed. So today we're going to talk about a little bit about my why, a little bit about Feed Your Family Tonight and why it's important. And as you listen, I want you to think about things that are important to you and what you're going to choose to have as your priorities as we enter this holiday season. Because there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be begging for our attention. And it's so much easier to say no to things that are very, very good when we are firm in our resolve and firm in our why we are doing these things, why we are choosing these activities, or why we are choosing to say no. Isn't that hard sometimes to say no to things that are really, really good? I know I am very, very guilty of that. And I want to be very, very intentional. Lately, I have been doing a lot of speaking. I've been doing a lot of podcast interviews. I've kind of been doing my own little media blitz for the Feed Your Family Tonight holiday planning guide. Speaking and going on other people's podcasts is one of my favorite things that I do. I love every minute of it. And I was speaking at the Food Blogger Summit this past week. I was talking about cooking on local TV, which is one of my absolute favorite things that I do in my job. And there was a Facebook group, and a participant in the summit said she was just getting started out, and she was learning about all of these things about food blogging, all of these do's and don'ts and quote unquote rules that you have to follow to be a successful food blogger. And she was getting really overwhelmed. She was ready to throw in the towel before she ever really got started, because there were so many things that she was learning and so many things that she was supposed to be doing that she couldn't get started because she didn't know where to start. And everything seemed like the most important thing. And she didn't feel that she was capable of doing it all to the best of her ability as she started. And I started to read the responses that the seasoned food bloggers were giving her. The one that struck out to me the most was, what is your why? Why do you want to start this food blog? And this wise seasoned food blogger went on to say, because it's that why that's going to get you through when things get overwhelming. And it's the why that's going to help you choose what's most important to work on first. And that got me thinking about, what is my why here at Feed Your Family Tonight? Feed Your Family Tonight has been in existence for 3 years now, and it is still kind of a baby, but it's a growing baby, and it's my baby, and I love it. But why am I here? And why am I choosing to have this podcast and all of the other pieces of Feed Your Family Tonight? And it really got me reflecting. You all know that it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and occasionally a curse word or two. If you have seen my Instagram stories or looked at my highlights where I have bloopers of some of my outtakes from my video recipe production, you will know that sometimes it can be frustrating. Sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. Don't get me wrong. I love every minute of what I do, but there's times where you just want to just throw in the towel and say, start over another day. When I go back to think about what my why is, it's really complicated. It's an onion that has hundreds of layers. The outside answer is, I'm here to serve the listeners and the viewers, but that's just kind of the dried papery part of the outside of the onion skin. You've got to peel back piece by piece to get at the core of what's most important. And for me, what's most important is helping people improve their lives through food. That is my mission in life. It is in my bones, and I have known it for over 25 years, that somehow, some way, I am going to help people improve their lives through food. And it's why I'm here. Now, I'm a wife and a mother, and my marriage and my children and my faith, those are all things that are of highest priority to me. But I have known since I was 19 years old that helping people with food is a part of my mission. And in the end, it really comes down to building stronger families. We are so busy with our jobs and our families and our daily life, and it's demanding, and there is a constant pull for our attention. We have phones in our pockets that are serving as constant distractions from the reality of our lives, and they give us constant interruption, and they give us constant escape from our reality, which sometimes is a good thing and sometimes is a not so good thing. We all have to eat to survive, and there's many ways to make that happen. But food is a basic human need. You can live off of rice and beans 3 times a day, 7 days a week, and that will keep you alive. In many parts of the world, that is even a luxury, and that is how people stay alive. In our Western society, we have the privilege to add variety to that rice and beans 3 times a day, 7 days a week. And we have the privilege of learning how to use our food to help us thrive and not just survive. Food is a way of nourishing our bodies, but when we gather and we eat food together, it is nourishing our spirits as well. It is creating connections with our loved ones, our friends, and our family. And that's one of the saddest things that's happened with the pandemic, is because we are not gathering as much and we're not eating together, We're having to find new ways to create those connections. And luckily with technology, it is possible. It just takes a little bit more work. But my goal with Feed Your Family Tonight is to help you to use food to thrive, but to know that it's just a tool and none of us are going to be Pinterest perfect. And if you're feeding your family rice and beans 3 times a day, 7 days a week, you're okay and you're doing enough. But I have recipes and I make the recipes to inspire you and to give you new ideas. My goal with my recipes is to have recipes that are simple and not complicated. And when I make the videos for my recipes, or I go on TV and I do my recipes on TV, my goal there is to teach you the recipes and encourage you that they're not that hard, that you are very capable of making them. But I also want to give you knowledge. If you watch closely in my videos, I am almost always giving you at least 1 or 2 tips about a technique or an ingredient, something that is going to help make cooking easier for you, or it's going to help you make a better cook. And the idea behind those ingredients and those ideas, as I try and give you that knowledge, is that you can take that knowledge and you can apply it to other things that you make. So that you can say, oh my gosh, I remember Marie talking about how sometimes baking powder has aluminum in it. And if you have a baked good that tastes a little bit metallic, you can use an aluminum-free baking powder and it's going to get rid of that metallic taste. And that principle applies whether you're making my muffins or my beer bread or scones or someone else's recipe, but you're going to remember that little tidbit that is going to improve your cooking. And so when I do my cooking videos, my why is to give you knowledge and techniques so that you can take those and use them with my recipes and other recipes. Now, I am a total food geek and I love learning about food, but I know most of you are not total food geeks, and cooking is not your 100% passion. Many of you do actually have a passion for cooking. There are lots of listeners here that are very, very avid cooks, and you're my kindred spirits. But for those of you that are just busy with little ones or busy with life and just getting dinner on the table is what you're shooting for, I hope that a little bit of my geeky food knowledge will help you be a little bit better cook without you having to do the research yourself. I have the blog. And the blog is kind of a catalog, the feedyourfamilytonight.com website. It's kind of a catalog. It's a place where you can go and shop for recipes. You can watch recipe videos. You can listen to podcasts to get new ideas. It's a place where if you have a recipe that you've tried and you liked and you want to share it with a friend, you can copy the link and share the recipe with a friend so that you can help them be a little bit better at weeknight dinners or at cooking a favorite dish. The podcast is here to encourage and inspire you. I love podcasting. It is so much fun. And I am sitting in my bedroom office and I am talking to no one but myself, but I know that you, the listener, are out there listening and that I have the chance to spend a little bit of time with you. I know that the podcasts that I listen to, I kind of have routines around when I listen to certain podcasts. I know that I'm listening to my friends Betsy and Kate, the Dinner Sisters, when I am lifting weights on Monday mornings. And I know that I like to listen to This American Life on Sunday nights when I'm doing dishes. And so I have my own routines with the podcasts that I listen to. And I would suspect that many of you have routines with this podcast. And if you do, sometime take a picture of yourself doing whatever you usually do when you're listening to the Feed Your Family Tonight podcast. Put it up on Instagram and tag me. I'm at Mariefiebach, or drop the photo in the Feed Your Family Tonight Facebook group. I would love to see what your routines around this podcast are. Are you folding your laundry on a Saturday morning, or are you taking your dog for a walk on a Tuesday evening? Whatever it is, take a picture and post it on Instagram or Facebook and tag me, because I would love to see. But I know that we all have these routines around these podcasts, and my podcast is here to encourage you to know that you are enough and that you are doing the best you can to feed your family and to love them well through food. The last little piece is the Facebook group. And that is where I get to connect with you. And the Facebook group exists so that I can connect with the listeners, so that I'm not just a voice in your head, but you can ask me questions and you can ask each other questions. My favorite thing that happens in the Facebook group is when someone has a question and 15 or 20 of you come in with wonderful, amazing suggestions that I would have never thought of to help them with their particular little cooking question or their little conundrum. It's so fun to see that you are so full of knowledge as well, and that you can help each other, and that we're building a community of people that are here, that are supporting each other as we cook and as we feed and as we share and as we work to build connections. My why is that I'm here to build a community. I'm here to encourage you and help you. I talk so often about recapturing a little calm in the crazy. Brad, the friend of mine who recorded my intro and my outro, he always says, helping you recapture a little calm in the crazy. I cannot say it as well as he does. He's got the best radio broadcast voice. But I really do mean that. Our lives have a lot of demands, and there is a lot of crazy. And as we head into November and December, it's going to get even a little crazier. But at Feed Your Family Tonight this holiday season, I am focusing on recapturing that calm in the crazy. That tagline of Feed Your Family Tonight is at a core of what is important. And I want you to be able to think about your why you are doing what you're doing, especially as we enter the holidays, so that you can make wise choices for you and your family. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. I don't want you to be stressed. I want you to be able to be on top of things, and I want you to be able to make intentional choices. And that sometimes means that you're going to have to choose to say no to things that are good. But in saying no to something that is good, you are giving yourself the space to say yes to something that is great. So I want you to think about what's most important and think about why you are doing what you're doing as we enter this busy season. Enjoy your time with your friends. Enjoy your time with your family. Create connection and try and have as much calm in the crazy as possible. Because, friend, you've got this. Take care. Picture yourself sitting in your decorated home in the midst of the holiday season. All of your gifts are purchased and wrapped, dinner's in the oven, and you're enjoying a moment of rest or are spending quality time with your family. No overwhelm, just calm. The Feed Your Family Tonight Holiday Planning Guide is here to help you manage the hundreds of little tasks that come with the holiday season. From shipping to roasting a turkey, we have got you covered. You'll plan your gifts, your meals, your decorating, and so much more. And new this year, we've added the Countdown to Christmas worksheets. Whether you're starting in October or starting in December, these worksheets will help you get out of the overwhelm and focus on the things that are most important to you this holiday season. For more information, visit feedyourfamilytonight.com/holiday and get your own copy of the Holiday Planning Guide.
Thanks for listening to Feed Your Family Tonight podcast with your host, Mariefiebach. If you like the show and want to know more, please visit feedyourfamilytonight.com. And if you'd like to help support the show, please leave a rating or review on iTunes or Apple Podcast. It helps spread the word that you can feed your family tonight.